So welcome guys, in this video I am going to discuss construction and working of bipolar junction transistor, also transistor as an amplifier. The bipolar junction transistor is one of the most common transistor. There are another type of transistor called field affected transistor, FET, and there is another kind, or they are called MOSFET, metal oxide field effect transistor. Now came to BJT. So bipolar junction transistor is an extension of a junction diode and consists of a single crystal of semiconductor with two PN junction. Junction transistor can be two type, PNP type and NPN type. If a N-type layer or N-type material is sandwiched between two P-type layer, the transistor is referred to as PNP type. On other hand, if a layer of P-type material is sandwiched between two N-type layer, the transistor is called NPN transistor. Now, there is a certain details in the construction. Here the central layer is called base. It is made very thin and lightly doped as compared to these other two outer layers. So middle layer is lightly doped here, as well as it is also thin. The outer section is called emitter. One outer section is called emitter, another outer section is called collector. Here is also difference. The emitter layer is heavily doped. This emitter layer is heavily doped than that of collector layer. Also, if we notice in terms of construction details, the junction between this emitter and base, and the width of the junction between this emitter and base, and width of the junction between this base and collector are different. The width of the collector base junction are considerably larger than that of emitter base junction. So this junction is relatively thinner than that junction, and this is the same case for both NPN and PNP type of the transistor. So now if we bought a transistor and reverse there, like while we are using it, if someone reverse the connection of emitter and collector, the transistor will not work because of this construction details. The emitter is always heavily doped than collector, as well as the emitter base junction is thinner than the collector base junction. Now this side, then symbolically a NPN transistor is represented by this symbol. Here this is representing the direction of emitter current. Also PNP transistor is represented symbolically by this diagram or by this symbol. Here the direction of current to be E naught. I already show while a transistor is operating in their normal operation, it will be the direction of current showing by the arrow. Now came to let's see a realistic picture how transistor was made. This shows, this picture here shows a real layer by layer growth of a transistor. So it is representing the collector, which is lightly doped than the emitter. Here emitter is heavily doped. The collector is relatively light dope from the emitter. Now in between this collector junction there is base. Base layer is thin compared to both collector and emitter. Now if we notice here, since the size of the collector is large, so junction formed in between collector and base will be large than compared to the emitter base junction. So here they are representing the metal contact for base, emitter and collector. There is a SiO2 layer here which is acting as an insulator. Now let us come to the working of a transistor. Now here things become interesting. For normal operation, emitter for any transistor, whether it is NPN and PNP, for normal operation of a transistor, the emitter base junction have to be forward bias. Emitter base junction have to be forward bias, and collector base junction have to be reverse bias. So this is the basic criteria for working of a transistor properly. Now let us see working of a NPN transistor. So as we said that we have to, for a normal working of a transistor, we have to make our emitter base junction forward bias. So this is our emitter, this is our collector, and in middle it is base. So we are making, our base is P type, so this is positive, our emitter is N type, so this is negative, so our emitter base junction is forward bias. And now let's see collector base junction. Here collector is N type. Now battery polarity is positive, so emitter base junction is reverse bias. Now let us see what will happen in this situation. Now since we applied forward bias in our emitter and base junction, this emitter and base junction, this is acting like a diode in forward bias condition, because this end over there, this is a NP junction or PN junction. So this applied forward bias will reduce the potential barrier in this depletion region. In the base region, there is a few number of electron present there as a minority carrier, because our base is P type. Now our emitter is a N type material, there is lots of electron is present. Now when forward bias reduce the potential barrier, lots of electron from this N side will diffuse to the P side, because the concentration of electron in P side is less. Now when they reach the P side, they start to recombine with hole present there and constructing base current here. And as electron are moving, diffusing from emitter to base, also our electron are going from the negative side of this battery into the junction, and that is creating our emitter current. Now one thing is here, we are already stated our base is lightly doped as well as thin. So when base is thin, the probability of recombination is less, as well as our doping is less. Only a few percent of electron, around 5% of total electron which are entering from this collector to base, are recombined with the hole present there. So this is here one hole, another hole, they are recombined with electron. So only 5% of the total electron recombine, and rest of them actually enter into the collector junction, because the electron can easily pass the potential barrier here. Electron will come here, and this electron will then construct our collector current. So the 95% of the total electron, that is the estimation, which were started from our emitter, end up here in collector, and rest of the 5% actually constitute the base current. So we can in total write our total emitter current is given by base current and collector current, where in approximately we can see our emitter current is approximately equal to collector current. There is only a small amount of electron which recombine with hole to create the base current. So that is the basic working here. Here we neglect one current component, that is, if you notice our collector and base junction are reverse bias, so there some reverse saturation current is flowing. We neglected this current because of its very small magnitude. Now came to working of a PNP transistor. So again here, for normal operation, we forward bias our emitter and base junction and reverse bias our collector and base junction. So emitter is here P type, base is here N type. That's why negative part of the battery is added to base and positive part is added to emitter. And again this side is reverse bias. So polarity are arranged accordingly. Now this when forward bias is applied to our emitter base junction, this is we can think as a PN junction diode. So as usual, our potential height of the potential barrier will be decreased, and in this N side there is some minority hole present. So concentration of hole is less here in the base. So lots of hole from P side or from emitter side will diffuse to this N side or diffuse into the base. Now electron are present there, some of the hole will recombine with the electron. Now like before, here the width of the base is very thin, as well as donor concentration is less or the base is lightly doped. That's why only a few portion of the hole will be recombined with electron, and rest of the hole will came into this collector side. Now since a portion of hole recombine with electron, so this source supply some electron to this base. This will create our base current, and the rest of the hole came here into the collector, and that will create collector current. And this hole actually collect electron from this side of the battery and construct collector current. And when hole are diffused into the base, electron are rejected by emitter to construct emitter current. So that is the normal operation of a transistor. So we can again see like our emitter current here is total emitter current can be represented by base current as well as collector current. So situation is similar like NPN transistor. Instead of electron, here our carrier is hole. Now again for simplicity we here ignored that there should be a reverse saturation current in between collector and base, because it is reverse bias. We ignore that small reverse bias current. Now came to our next part. So here we are going to see how transistor can work as an amplifier. So this is a circuit of a transistor. Here transistor, say it is NPN type. NPN type. You can see our emitter base junction is forward bias and our collector base junction is reverse bias. This transistor is a NPN type transistor. Now we here apply a signal. or say like we are slightly changing the voltage of this source. Let's say we are changing the voltage this side, somehow we are changing our input voltage the delta Vi. When our this side voltage of this side will change in a small change of delta Vi, then the height of the barrier potential or barrier height in this PN junction will also change. So as the barrier height in this PN junction changes, the number of, in this case it will be number of electron which are going from emitter to the base side, which are going to the emitter to base side will also change, because more number of electron will diffuse if barrier height decreases, and a less number of electron will diffuse if barrier height is increases. So as the number of electron diffused electron will change, the delta Vi cause a change in emitter current. So let us assume delta Vi cause a delta E change in emitter current. So because as delta E changes, our emitter current will also be, our collector current will also be changed. It will be changed, say the collector current changes delta IC, because we know our emitter current is related with collector current by this relation. So as emitter current changes, our collector current will also change. Now as the collector current changes, delta IC changes, the voltage across this RL will also changes. Now say voltage across RL, let us represent the voltage across RL by delta V0. It will be nothing but minus RL into IC. So we'll come later on why we are giving this minus sign. So we can take it as, for now let us take it as a magnitude, that this will be the magnitude of the voltage which are changing across this RL, and we can take this voltage. So now voltage across the RL is V0 and there will be a change. This is, take it as a dV0, and the magnitude of dV0 is the change in voltage will be load resistance into delta IC, change in collector current. Now we can write our input change of input voltage as a Re into delta I, where Re is the resistance of this emitter base junction. So this is actually dynamic resistance of a diode, PN junction diode. So our input voltage change will cause a change in delta IE. So it will be related by this relation, a simple Ohm's law here. And the change in output voltage will be, say, minus RL delta IC. Now here we are showing how transistor can work as a amplifier. Now let us calculate voltage gain, which is represented by AV. It will be given by delta V0 by delta Vi, which is nothing but minus minus RL delta IC by Re delta I. Now here the term minus delta IC by delta I is called actually current amplification or current gain. It is always less than 1. It is slightly less than 1, because this is actually the ratio between collector current and emitter current. We know that emitter current equal to base current plus collector current. So there is small amount of base current here. So since the magnitude of base current is small, so the ratio is nearly 1, some 98%, as we already say, some 95% of the electron flow. So the AI can be some within 0.93 to some 0.98. Now let us come back to our equation of gain. So we can write it as AI into RL by RE. Now the value of RE is some order of few ohm, like some, it can be some 5 ohm, 10 ohm, some 30 ohm also. But we can set the value of RL maybe some in order of some kilo ohm. So if RL is greater than RE, then we can see our voltage gain is greater than 1. So that in this manner transistor can act as a amplifier. Let us see an example, then we are again also came to explanation how it is working as an amplifier. So let us take current gain as a 0.98, RL as a 3 kilo ohm, RE as a 30 ohm. Then if we put all the value, our AV will come out as a 98. So if there is a input voltage, say input voltage is changing as a like 10 millivolt order, then output voltage will change also of the order of say 10 into 98 or make it say 100. It will be order of 1. So our output voltage will also change plus minus of 1 volt. So the amplification actually taking place in such a manner that thing is that our emitter base resistance is very less, some order of some few ohm, but the load can be very large. So here amplification is taking in such a manner that we are sending same amount of current. So that since the value of I and IC are same, we are sending a same amount of current through RL as well as RE. So same amount of current is passing through a low resistance as well as a high resistance. So that's how amplification actually happening here. And the minus sign is here because the minus sign came here in this expression because if here voltage is increasing, a forward voltage is increasing, how maybe signal is with the phase of this battery, then our forward voltage is increasing, that is causing a increasing emitter current. So there will be increasing collector current. As well as if the signal source is out of phase with the voltage source, then the current will also decrease and voltage across this RL will also decrease. And now came to the change of why I introduce a minus sign here. The negative sign is here because an enhancement of the collector current gives a voltage drop across RL with the polarity opposite to the reference polarity for the voltage drop V0 across the RL. So again let me repeat it. The negative signs appear here because an enhancement of the collector current gives a voltage drop across RL with opposite polarity to the reference polarity for the voltage drop V0 across the RL. So this is plus, this is minus. So the voltage drop, if the collector current increases, the voltage drop actually, we can see say the voltage is here across the, if there is no change, say let us assume the voltage is 3 volt. Now if the collector current increases suddenly, now voltage across is dropped. Now if the collector current decreases, voltage across it increases. That is the manner. That's why there is a negative sign. So we'll see a simulation about it and slowly we will understand. Then it will give us a better understanding. So let us first show a simulation on working of the transistor. So let us first look here. This is a NPN transistor. Their emitter base junction is forward bias. Collector base junction is reverse bias. So their base is actually P, both emitter side as well as collector side are N type. So now we apply a 0.8 millivolt across the emitter base junction in forward. Here voltage is in forward bias. The emitter base junction is in forward bias condition. Applied voltage is 0.8 volt. So a current of 13.7 milliampere. This is our emitter current is passing through or is supplied by this battery. Now we can see here this side. This battery is supplying collector current. The value of it is 13.6 milliampere. And the value of emitter current is 13.7 milliampere. So they are closed. And the base current here, it is measured by this ammeter. It is showing some 136 microampere. So if you add up this value of base current and this collector current, it will be equal to this emitter current. Now let us slightly increase the voltage across the emitter base junction and wait for a few time. Now here we can see our collector current is 149 milliampere. Our emitter current is 150 milliampere. And base current is around 1.5 milliampere. So total sum is almost agreeing. There the value here is approximate. To better measurement, we should add a ammeter here, but it is the idea. So same number of almost same current is passing through the emitter as well as collector, and a small current is passing through the hole, that passing through the base. So that means here only a few number of hole is recombined with the electron in the base. So the arrow is showing the direction of current. That means flow of electron is here opposite, if you want to think about it. So now came to our next picture. It is a PNP transistor. This side is emitter, this side is collector, and this is the base. Our here base is N type. Now we can easily see our emitter base junction is forward bias because emitter is P, base is N, and collector base junction is reverse bias. Here we are applying 1 volt in our emitter base junction. Now let us, the situation is same here. Now let us see one thing. Let us increase the voltage of this collector base junction. Let us see what will happen. Let us increase to 5 volt and wait how current changes. So here current is, emitter current is 150 milliampere, collector current is 149 milliampere. Now let us again back to 3 volt and let us see what will happen. The same, notice the value is same again. Initially it was 150 milliampere, so and the collector current was 149 milliampere. So the here the voltage of collector base junction, the increase of collector base junction does not make any change of our emitter current, because here emitter is actually driving in the, if we increase the voltage of emitter base junction, then collector current as well as emitter current will increase, because the emitter voltage is actually injecting hole here, emitter voltage is actually emitter base junction, the voltage of emitter base junction is actually reducing the potential barrier. So more we increase the voltage, more the potential barrier will decrease, and more number of hole will injected into the base, and that will increase the emitter current. Let us slightly decrease our emitter base voltage. So I'll make it 1.5, and let's wait. Initially voltage was current was 150 milliampere. Now it is 609 milliampere. As well as here collector current is increases also. Let us reduce the voltage little bit of this collector side. Let's see what will happen. The amount of current is same here. The slight change of voltage of collector base junction will make no change here. So here we can say this collector current, the collector current is independent of this collector base voltage applied here, at least up to a certain point. If you increase the voltage too much in real life, the collector base junction will break down and your transistor will be gone. Now let us show another thing. Here our collector base junction is reverse bias and emitter junction is open completely. Now we see here a small current is passing through this collector base junction. This we called actually reverse saturation current. Now while we are explaining our working of transistor, we actually neglect this current. So now I came to the working of transistor as an amplifier. Now this circuit represent working of a transistor as an amplifier. So before going to this circuit, let us try something first, then we will apply this amplifier some signal. Let us take a voltage source, add it with series, now let us choose the voltage, make it first 0 volt. So let us see what is happening. So we are observing this side is our emitter base junction. Our emitter current is 13.7 milliampere and collector current is 13.6 milliampere. The 13.6 milliampere current is flowing through this resistance of 200 ohm. Now let us slightly increase the voltage of this battery, this voltage source. Let us increase by a 10 millivolt. We are changing the voltage slightly. Let us assume this is our delta Vi, what we are discussing in our theory. So we are slightly increase it by some 10 volt. Initially current was some 13.6 milliampere. Now emitter current is 17.4 milliampere. So that means emitter current is increases. So small change of this forward bias voltage causing a large change in current, because end of the day it is a PN junction diode, so current will increase exponentially. Or from physics point of view, the small increase in this forward bias voltage, barrier potential decreases and lots of electron is injected into base, and that is increasing our emitter current, and that will also increase our collector current, no problem. Now let us decrease the voltage by, then let's make it minus 10 millivolt, and we will going to see what will happen. So let's wait. Now we can see current decreases. Initially when it voltage was 0, it was some 13.7. Now it's become 10 milliampere. So current decreases. Since forward bias voltage decreases, current also decrease. So as emitter current decreases, collector current will also decrease. So now instead of decreasing by manually, I will going to use a sinusoidal source which will continuously going to, which will have an amplitude of 10 millivolt. So it will, sometime it will add 10 millivolt, sometime it is going to subtract 10 millivolt from this 800 millivolt source. So now this is a sinusoidal source. Let me fix this amplitude. So it is fixed in 10 millivolt. So now let's run it and let's see what will happen. Now voltage across, this is our delta Vi. We can see it. Oh, it is showing the current. We don't want to see current. We want to see voltage of the source. So as usual, we can see as we fixed it, maximum voltage is plus 10 volt, minimum is minus 10 millivolt, plus 10 millivolt. So current is changing accordingly. Also here, current is sometime increasing, current is sometime decreasing. Now we want to see the voltage across our this load resistance. So that's why here we apply a voltmeter and we are going to see the voltage. Let me remove it for a better view. So now we can say the delta V0, a change in output voltage across the load. Initially our input voltage was some 10 millivolt. Now let us see what is the magnitude of the output voltage. We can easily see our maximum is some 3.5 volt and minimum is near 2 volt. That means difference is some 1.5 volt. And our input is 10 millivolt, but output is 1.5 volt. That means here gain is 150. So that's how actually a transistor amplifier work. The basic principle is here. We are actually transferring same current from a small resistance. That this some emitter base junction. Let us check what is the voltage of this emitter resistance. It is showing some 100 ohm. We can increase it and make it 2. So now the ratio of load resistance by emitter resistance is 100. So that's why our gain will also be 100. Or not, sorry, there is some also one thing we have to consider, that our ratio, we have to take the ratio of collector current with emitter current, that is always less than 1. So that's why our gain will be slightly less than 100. So actually the name transistor came from, actually here we are transferring same amount of current from a low resistance to high resistance. That's why the name transistor came, transfer of current. So I think enough for today. So we actually get a simple idea how a transistor amplifier works. In the next video, we will see different working mode of a transistor, like some common base connection, common emitter connection, and their characteristics also, and where to use them, where not to be, their advantages, disadvantages. So if you like this video, please like it, share, subscribe. Thank you. And one thing also, the PDF copy of this blackboard will also be attached in the description. So if you wish, you can take it